Hello and welcome to The Radical. I'm Christina.
And I'm Nicole. On our podcast, we delve into the roots of metaphysical wisdom.
That's right, Nicole. Our podcast is all about exploring those fundamental truths and practices that nourish your mind, body, and spirit.
Yes, Christina, we want to make metaphysical concepts easy to understand and accessible, especially for those who don't have a ton of time to do all the research.
Right? We'll do the research as well as share our experiences and perspectives, hoping to empower you, our listener, to find balance and magic in your day-to-day.
Inspired by the essence of the word radical, proceeding from the root, let's explore the roots of well-being and self-healing together.
This is The Radical with Christina and Nicole, two metaphysical girls in the material world.
Hello and welcome to The Radical. I'm Nicole. Today we are talking about Chinese astrology, specifically what are known as the 4 pillars of destiny, or the Bazi. And this is spelled B-A-Z-I. This astrological concept is so fascinating. Christina has a list for us going over some of the basics behind the 4 pillars of destiny. I really was not sure what direction my research was going to take me when I started going down this path, and I ended up researching feng shui. I ended up pulling out my medical qigong certification course notes.
What?
And
how about that?
And I get a little spicy at the end of segment 2. Then I have 2 cards today for messages from the universe, which will be at the very end. So, Christina, teach us.
Okay. I, like Nicole, was interested in what direction I was going to go in. I tend to stay in the facts realm and the 5 W's: what, when, where, why. I kind of always start there with answering those basic questions. And I just found this information so fascinating and wanting to know more, to learn more. And I hope in this very short podcast where we talk about these big concepts and these big overarching energies and ideas, that we kind of pique your interest too, listeners, so that you can go on your journey with the Bazi. The 4 pillars of destiny is a Chinese astrological concept that uses the person's date and time of birth to find a unique personality profile. So that doesn't sound too dissimilar to our own Western astrology. The term Bazi translates to 8 characters, or 8 words in Chinese. And this cycle uses 2 60-year cycles. It has a long history dating back to ancient China. The origins of Bazi can be traced back to the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE, or to 220 CE, where it was used by scholars and government officials to predict the future. The 4 pillars of destiny is based on the theory of yin and yang and Wu Xing. It's a cornerstone of Chinese astrology. It talks about your personality, destiny, and life path. There's also a lot of talk about luck in the Bazi.
Yes.
I love that.
And we have a couple podcasts coming up about luck.
Okay, the 4 pillars of destiny. Pillar number 1, year. The first pillar is the year you were born. The second pillar, the month. The third pillar, the day. And the fourth pillar, the hour. There's a little bit, or I listened or read at least one astrologer tying, for just the sake of understanding, back to Western astrology about the sun sign, the moon sign, and the rising sign, tied to year, month, day, and hour. And you can kind of see that. But the attributes and the concepts are very different. So you might see some of that in your own research.
And I think the year pillar is one that we, as like Americans in our culture, we're familiar with. That's
Mm-hmm.
that Chinese um, animal of the year. So
Yeah.
now we are moving into the year of the snake. So that corresponds with the year pillar. And most of us are familiar with
Yeah.
that concept in the Chinese New Year and the animal associated with a given year.
Now, each pillar is made up of two characters, one from the heavenly stem, one from the earthly branches. The heavenly stems correspond to the 5 Chinese elements, and I'm going to talk about the 5 elements. So, heavenly stem, 5 elements. Wood represents growth, creativity, and flexibility. Fire, passion, charisma, and leadership qualities. Earth, stability, reliability, groundedness, patience, practicality. Metal, strength, resilience, determination with resolve and ambition, and responsibility. And then water, fluidity, adaptability, emotions, and intuition. 5 elements in the Chinese astrology. Those are heavenly stems. Then you have the earthly branch, signifies the animal signs with specific characteristics, and together those two form the pair. So the earthly branches are used to show the rise and the fall of qi throughout the year, and each animal sign has a year. So this is, we're talking about the year of the dragon and the year of the snake, but they also have a 2-hour period in each day representing the rise and the fall of qi. And I think we know, most people know at least what their personal year animal is. And then I think generally we know what the animal of the year is. But we have the rat, the ox, the tiger, rabbit, dragon, and snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Each one with a very detailed out set of attributes and correspondences. The earthly branches are also associated with the cardinal points in space, with an animal representing each: north, rat; east, rabbit; south, horse; west, rooster. I didn't go into all 12 animals. Maybe I should have, Nicole.
I think we would have been here forever.
Hey, listeners, there's also hidden stems, which are only the chi energies of the earthly branch. Dun dun dun. Um, and why is this so interesting to us? Because we are interested in ourselves. Ultimately, personality, how you perceive the world in relationship with others. Your baza is only one part of your Ming. Your luck or opportunities improve when you begin to consciously take action in your life by choosing better experiences, which can bring you better luck. So there's also the two concepts of yourself is your Ming or self, and then the Yun is your experiences. Understanding luck cycles and how to ride out a good wave or a boon when it comes is a concept, is one of the key concepts in Chinese astrology. And embarking on your life's journey so that you get better experiences along the way. and become a person of greater influence through understanding yourself better. I love how those three concepts sum up Chinese astrology: luck, life, and understanding. Isn't that fascinating?
Yes, when I
Mm-hmm.
was researching, this concept came up too, and it's something that we talked about in the episode, Is Astrology Legitimate? This is a framework for understanding, but both Western astrology and Chinese astrology highly emphasize free will, and that this
Mm-hmm.
is not a predictive, set in stone type practice. It's really what Christina was saying. It's information we can use to bring ourselves into harmony with what's going on around us and within us. For example, I'm a tiger and we are moving into the year of the snake. The tiger and the snake are not friends.
Uh-oh.
They have conflict. So, what does that mean? If I throw my hands up and say, well, it's going to be a bad year for me, well, then it's probably going to be a bad year for me.
Yeah.
So, instead, how do I ride the wave? How do I take on this experience and learn from it and just take it in stride? What lessons are available to me? Because nothing is good or bad, we make it so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I love the the concept of luck prevalent in Chinese astrology. I am so drawn. Well, we did the podcast on superstition. We talked about luck, and we are planning an episode on luck, which I'm really looking forward to. Because in my mind, we have free will, and then we are in a world of coincidences and nature, which is generally neutral. It's just how it affects us could be good or bad. So what is it that that gives us those little ah light bulb moments and aha moments and lucky moments? It's so lucky I caught my train. Luckily, I had $20 in my wallet. Luckily, I put um, an extra pair of socks in my backpack. All these things that we say are associated with luck have to do with, planning and sometimes just coincidences. But is it though? Sometimes it is intuition and divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we recognize that as luck? That's why I like the Chinese zodiac a lot too, because there's an emphasis on recognizing it when it happens, and not taking advantage of it, but riding that wave,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because a lot of times we're all exposed to the same things, but I might take advantage of it, whereas you walk right past it.
Are we generally in a being state of being open and receptive?
Mm-hmm.
Are we practicing gratitude? Um, there's a quote by Albert Einstein. There are two ways you can view the world. One is as though everything is a miracle, and the other is nothing is a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can believe in serendipity and magic and luck.
Yeah.
You can believe things are happening for you.
Yeah, and agency and divine intervention and wishes granted, all of that. Or you can choose not to believe in
Mm-hmm.
any of that. Those socks were there because I put them there, not because I was lucky to remember them, or because my,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was. Oh my goodness. So luck.
There's another quote that I want to find on this topic. It's on our Instagram. The quote goes like this: "And above all, watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic or luck or serendipity will never find it."
Yeah.
So I researched feng shui.
Really. I think I know what feng shui is, but I actually just know it through popular culture, essentially, right? What I've seen and heard on TV shows, movies, and whatever culture I consume. I actually don't know what it is.
Right. I think in our Americanized understanding of feng shui, it's superficial.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think, thought of as a way to organize your home. And I'm going to put this stack of books here and I'm going to put some flowers there. And that certainly is part of it. But before we hit record, Christina said something that she said she wasn't going to say on the podcast, but I will. It's almost like in popular culture, the reverence and the depth of these practices are lost. It's like we're making Hello Kitty out of it. And this applies to the animal of the year and our understanding of feng shui. It's this very, very thin top layer
Yeah.
that popular culture takes and runs with without realizing the depth and how ancient of a practice
Mm-hmm.
these are.
I said a note about a book I'm reading about how we as human beings apply our understanding to concepts, objects, deities, animals, all the things that we do. And I and I said, like I said to Nicole before we recorded, is that I take these things very, very seriously. So if I don't actually understand, I don't even want to pretend like or make light of these, to me, very ancient, serious concepts that have a lot of benefits but also have consequences. So I'm going to say I wanted to know a lot more before I started to dive into my own four pillars, is what I was talking about. It's like,
Right. Feng shui literally translates to wind, water. And I'm bringing up feng shui because there's a large emphasis on the five elements in both Chinese astrology and in feng shui. The definition of feng shui is a way in which you can begin to balance and harmonize energies and elements, not just within your four pillars, but also in your environment, within your body, within your living space. I also came across the idea that the Bazi is responsible for about 1/3 of your luck, and your
oh,
free will and your environment, aka your feng shui, are responsible for the remaining 2/3 of your
oh my
luck.
gosh, what a fascinating concept. I love that.
Feng shui is an ancient Chinese practice that does involve arranging objects and spaces with the intention to improve the flow of energy or qi to promote harmony and balance. Feng shui is based on the Taoist concept of yin and yang, as well as the five elements of water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. I'm going to talk more about yin and yang as well as the five elements in a moment, but I wanted to mention some more facts about feng shui first. Feng shui has been around for about 3,500 years, so a very long history. Christina mentioned the Han Dynasty already, and during this time, feng shui was studied alongside geography and astrology. It is believed that feng shui can affect destiny on a macro and micro level. So it can affect us on an individual level, but even on levels as large and as big as an entire country. Because of this belief, all capital cities in China followed rules of feng shui for their design and layout. Feng shui seeks to balance the relationship between human beings and nature so human beings can live auspiciously, favorably, and compatibly within their environments around them,
Mm,
which I think is just beautiful.
yeah.
According to yin yang theory, everything in the universe is composed of two opposing and deeply interconnected forces. The yin, which is characterized as the feminine, the dark, or the negative polarity, and the yang, masculine, light, positive polarity. These two forces support and nourish each other and they cannot exist without the other. This is the concept behind the yin yang symbol that illustrates this idea perfectly. And then the 5 elements. I want to talk about that too. This is when I pulled out my medical qigong notes because it was a large part of that certification course. In my course, we actually learned a specific set of medical Qigong movements called the 5 elements. This set of movements is rooted in 5-phase theory, which explains how elements engender the next one in a continuous cycle. 5-phase theory describes agents of change and the ways in which the 5 elements engender, stimulate, and oppose each other. So, for example, metal generates water because it collects and engenders dampness or condensation, which leads to the formation of water. This cycle is an ongoing process and it follows a specific order. So metal engenders water, which engenders wood, which engenders fire, which engenders earth, which cycles back to engendering metal. In my lineage of Qigong, the 5 elements and its movements actually emerged on the battlefield as martial medicine, designed to improve the systemic functioning and immunity of the soldiers. This is because in Chinese medicine, each element has an associated organ as well as other fundamental properties. In traditional Chinese medicine, the 5 elements are used to understand and treat health imbalances by harmonizing the body's systems. Christina mentioned this too, that the elements correspond to our 24-hour cycle, with each element governing specific times of the day. Just like Chinese astrology, which you can get really deep with, you can see how Chinese medicine is so intricate.
I want to go to like a whole 4-year college or training. I don't even know if it could be 4 years. I don't even know how many years. But oh, it's you peel back one layer and you just discover so much more every time I learn anything about traditional Chinese medicine.
It's harmonizing and it's highly personalized too. There is an acknowledgement of that in Chinese medicine that I think is lacking maybe in our Western frameworks of medicine. What's right for me might not be the correct solution for you.
Yeah.
And if you remember back to our Is Astrology Legitimate episode, there was a brief discussion. I believe it was in the 1600s where birth charts were included in medical records and actually were the catalyst for some of the earliest known and published medical journals. I can see how a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner would want to have your Bazi information because that's going to help inform the practitioner of the elements that you were born with and what you need as an individual in terms of harmonization.
I understand the Ayurvedic concepts a little bit better than the traditional Chinese medicine just because I've had more exposure to the Ayurvedic, and it is all about understanding what your balance is, because as human beings, Nicole and I could be at the same buffet line doing the same yoga training, let's say, but she needs to eat salad and I need to eat rice and beans. Do you know what I mean? It's like this is such a basic thing, like, but there's this thing where it's like one thing is not the answer for everybody because we all have a different state that we're going to. That whether you're bringing your energy up or bringing your energy down, whether you're trying to cool down or warm up, whether you're trying to calm the mind or looking for energy to move forward, even though you and I might be doing the same thing in the same space for the same amount of time, our bodies need different energies from the world around us and what we eat and how we spend our free time, because that's what brings us back to balance and what our state is and what our natural constitution is.
Yes, I think that's a shared theme in traditional Chinese medicine and Chinese astrology as well. And that's why in Chinese astrology, the animals are paired with an element. It's just giving us more information so that we can harmonize ourselves. But then with this concept of feng shui, we're harmonizing with nature in our environment too.
Do you know how in Western astrology they're using the planets and the planets as they cycle for however many years they go around the sun? And then in Chinese astrology, they're using Jupiter, but they're mostly using the five elements in their 260-year cycles. I think it is just an expression and an understanding by thousands of years of observation, research, and experience that these cultures have understood that energy ebbs and flows.
Yes, that really ties in perfectly to my. I have another section, but my last note for this section is there is a reason these practices and concepts have endured for thousands of years.
Yes.
There's a reason feng shui has endured for 3,500 years.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
reason traditional Chinese medicine is still practiced today. There's a reason that, I signed up for a Qigong teacher training. There's a
Yeah.
reason yin and yang, the five elements, astrology. There's a reason because I think it does capture
Yeah.
this wisdom, like Christina said, of energy ebbing and flowing.
So it could be tied to the planets. That is what Western astrology uses. And in Chinese astrology, they're talking about the elements, probably elements of nature, seasons,
And in,
ages of time. Do you know, because they've got
yes,
the records going all the way back where different ages had different events and different things happen on this planet that affected the energy going up and down. So, listeners, if you don't resonate with the planets or celestial bodies, maybe take a look at the Chinese astrology and feng shui and energy and elemental information, because it is it is the same but very different. Right? It's it's a, how do you say that? It's the same but different.
well,
Looking to
just like
seek
how,
balance with the focus on a different way to get balance
yeah,
and understanding.
in Western astrology, we did a podcast on the personalities of the planets, and that's the Western framework. That's the Western language, the personalities of the planets and the gods, the goddesses, those deities. We could easily do the personalities of the 12 animals.
Yes. I read an article where one of the ancient monasteries came up with the concept of giving the 12 cycles an animal to help people understand the energy of those
Hmm.
12-year cycles. They use the animals to fit what that particular the attributes of that energy cycle that they were talking about. But yeah,
Hmm.
we could have been talking about the personalities of those 12 animals.
So my year pillar is the fire tiger.
I'm a wood rabbit. Could that be any opposite? A fire tiger and a wood rabbit.
If you are listening and you were born from February 9th, 1986 to January 28th, 1987, you are also a fire tiger. And some of the characteristics of a fire tiger, I just picked a couple, but naturally smart, quick witted, honest, and serious. I had a good laugh over this one, a teacher's pet, because I absolutely was a teacher's pet. However, the fire tiger needs to watch out for being too ambitious, maybe a little too proud. They have a tendency to people please and could be easily manipulated.
Mm.
The earth element is very helpful for people born in a year of the tiger. So we're getting this harmonizing information. Fire tigers, it's really crucial for them to add something prominent in their living space that represents the earth element. This could simply be some potted plants. That is using some feng shui principles as well as your Chinese astrological information to harmonize your natural born energy. But no one's going to come make sure you put a potted plant in your office. That's your free will and your choice. My month pillar is the wood sheep, and my day pillar is the wood dog. So
Okay.
got some wood element happening. The wood element is associated with the liver.
Oh,
So again, remembering that the elements are tied to an organ as well as other kind of fundamental principles and characteristics. So the emotion associated with the wood element is anger and rage. Hmm. It lends itself to being a type A personality. So this is kind of a manifestation of the wood element, maybe out of balance. The sensory organ associated with the wood element is the eyes, and the color is green.
did you have a number? I went to one website and just plugged in my information very quickly, and then I took pictures of it, but I did not research it. That is going to be for another time and date when I have more bandwidth to do that. But did you have a number, a life star number?
I
Do you
don't
remember
know.
saying that? Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Well, that what I just shared is I pulled a lot of that from my qigong notes because one of the medical qigong kind of sequences, I guess, that we learned is not a movement sequence at all. It's actually an internal kind of meditative form of qigong, and that's where the colors come into play.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of a, I don't want to oversimplify it, but for the scope of today's discussion, it's sort of like a visual type guided meditation designed to bring balance and harmony to the organs by envisioning, for example, giving your liver the color green. It's really cool. Okay, so my fourth pillar, my hour pillar, I won't tell.
Wait, wait, wait. Your hour pillar?
I'm not telling. I'm not
Okay,
publicly sharing it.
that's your secret.
It's
Okay.
my secret. So
Does it have
this,
to be a secret?
well, I am. This was something that came up in our, I believe, our superstitions podcast. I'm not
Oh,
sure, but
I remember this
we,
now.
yes, we talked about it then. But in Chinese astrology and metaphysics are viewed as profound sciences and not mere fortune telling. So in this tradition, it is believed that you should only give your birth details to a trusted and ethical astrologer. In the wrong hands, someone could use your birth details to manipulate your destiny.
Oof.
So, out of respect for this tradition and the belief system that this is a very kind of sacred, time honored, ancient
Yes.
tradition, I'm going to keep that one personal. Um,
That's how I feel. This is serious stuff. I don't take it lightly.
I'm going to get spicy for a second.
Ooh, gets spicy.
All right. This was a real life situation that happened to me a couple years ago. One time, years ago, someone who I worked for wanted to do a Western astrological couples reading before she would be willing to discuss giving me a raise. Listeners, this use of astrology is, in my opinion, completely unacceptable. This type of situation is asking for manipulation.
Hmm.
It is my belief and very strong opinion that this is absolutely not how we should be using astrology.
I agree. I don't
It,
think things like that are that clear cut, first of all, that it would be that specific without a lot of human interpretation, which is where you said that manipulation comes from. You can interpret it to what you want it to be. Oh, yeah, I don't agree with that.
That's why the note in the beginning of this little spicy tangent said, giving your birth details to a trusted and ethical astrologer. It is my feeling that an astrologer who would be willing to offer this type of service, and a couple's reading is fine, but in the context of, am I going to give you a raise, is, in my opinion, a complete unethical use and violation of how astrology is intended to be used. So if you
Yeah.
find yourself in that situation, listeners, um, I would empower you to use your voice and say, absolutely not. I do not consent to this type of reading, and I refuse to share my birth details with somebody whose ethics are not in alignment with mine and in alignment with the intention of and the sacredness of what I think astrology intends to give us.
Yeah.
So that was my rant. I definitely, we have, I think, expressed, me and Christina both, that we have reverence and respect for, I think, both Western and Chinese astrology.
Yes. I have
Um,
reverence and respect for all of the ancient
yes. And I just really
metaphysical
appreciate,
concepts that we cover, all of them. Because
yes.
and I and I said before we hit record, I said I wasn't going to say this, and now we've said it. This is the third time. That it's because it's not inherently good or bad. It's interpretation. It's like nature. It's neutral until we add our human interpretation of it. Our human uses for it and desires for it, and a deeper understanding is, we need more of an understanding of what it is and less of a using it in quotation marks to get answers to things that should not be based on metaphysical concepts, like work related things. I gotta tell you, relationship stuff should be not based on metaphysical concepts as well. Like if you're looking for a partner, it should be based on a lot more than their birth details, in my opinion. So
I
there's not a clear answer in a lot of this stuff. It has to be open to interpretation. So it can be read differently by different people.
I think kind of for me what it boils down to a little bit is, um, one, we are using this as information with the intention to find harmony and balance.
Mm-hmm.
When we start using astrology for um, clear cut, hard answers and outcomes, I think it has the potential to be misused.
Yes.
And also, we remember the birth chart is responsible for about 1/3 of how our life unfolds, and the other 2/3 is our free will, our choice, and our luck. So when we find ourselves in a situation where astrology is being used for an outcome, isn't what is really going on here, we're giving the birth chart 100% of the power?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Christina's saying. Like, if you're using it for a couple's reading, keep that proportion in mind. Give it its due place. But that is a minority stake.
Yeah.
Your luck
It's
and your free will has a majority stake in how your life
so
unfolds.
so it's 3. It's one third, right? Is that what it is? I have not heard that concept before, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love that. One third birth details, right? One third the feng shui details of how you organize the energy flow around your life, and then that one third is your free will to accept the luck or not accept it, to take the path less traveled, or to do, you know what I mean, like the things that the choices we make every day based on the life that we have is one third of it as well. Oh, I love that. I'm going to
Yeah.
be thinking about that.
So
I need to
keeping
remember
it,
that for our luck podcast,
yeah,
because it's not all luck. Because if
yeah,
you never left the house to go out, you would have never had the chance to find the $20 on the street. Like,
yes. You have to put yourself in the way of serendipity, is what I have
yeah.
heard. Our,
Oh, this, I'm telling you, I respect it a lot, and I just want to know so much more. Is there a college you and I can go to, Nicole? Can we just disappear for like 2 years and just dedicate ourselves to studying these concepts full time in a beautiful location, in a magical space, like a Hogwarts situation?
that sounds ideal.
I want to go to college for this full time.
That would be awesome. Well, I think the messages from the universe are ready to come through.
Okay.
I have two cards chosen, and I am using the Archangel Oracle by Christina Nicole. And I'm going to read our first card out of the two. And the first one is New Opportunities. The hard work is paying off. And this card is linked to Archangel Chamuel. Archangel Chamuel. And the message is you are on the path to receive new opportunities and connection. Keep going. Your effort is paying off. New opportunities are on the horizon for you. This card is coming forward to let you know that the hard work is paying off. Soon you will see the fruition of the inner work and see many opportunities available. This card represents holding the faith and trust in yourself and the journey that you walk. Each step that you take is bringing you closer to the divine solution or divine opportunity that awaits. You are being asked to see yourself in the frequency of opportunity, even if it feels like a mystery or the unknown. When you feel yourself questioning when or feeling impatient, call on Archangel Chamuel to help release the fears and doubts, and instead lean into trusting your bigger vision and God's plan. Archangel Chamuel is also coming forward to help you take aligned action to support the unfolding of this process. Trust in the nudges that you feel. Allow yourself to be shown the way. Feel yourself becoming open and receptive of these divine gifts and opportunities. Remember the greater vision, and therefore these opportunities are meant for you. You have what it takes to make it possible. You are capable, you are supported, and so very loved. Journaling prompts. How does it feel to receive the next big opportunity? How can I embody these feelings on a daily basis? And our second card, I feel like, is its cousin, New Beginnings. I'm telling you, these two jumped out. So,
They
this
wanted
is,
to be heard today.
yes, And the fact that one was new opportunities and the second is new beginnings was pure coincidence, pure
And
luck.
it's the new calendar year right now. As we're recording this, we're 1 week into the new calendar year.
New beginnings, a fresh outlook, and new experiences. Message from Angel Celeste. This is an opportunity to have a fresh start regarding the things you truly desire in your life. New ideas and inspiration are coming to you now. Angel Celeste is coming forward with this card to guide you in a new direction on your journey. This card represents a fresh start and a new beginning, and it may be directed to a specific area of your life or your entire journey as a whole. Wherever you're at, know that this is a time for your thoughts and ideas to come to life. This is an opportunity to bring fresh new energy that will revitalize your current situation. You are being guided to call on Angel Celeste to support you with embracing the changes and to feel excited about what is meant to unfold. She is guiding you into taking action and moving forward in a way which may feel like you're taking a risk. She is reminding you that what you truly desire is worth taking the risk. You're being graduated onto a new level that holds powerful, fresh ideas from which you get to create your dreams and deepest desires. Right now, Angel Celeste is asking you to call on her to help you clear away any stagnant energy and to begin to feel the refreshing new space that you are stepping into. This is a new beginning and a new chapter that your soul is ready for. Allow your big visions and dreams to grow here. Trust in the ideas that begin to flow to you. Take the necessary steps to pursue this next phase of your journey. Journaling affirmation: I am ready to pursue a new level of experience and creation. I open my heart to the flow of inspiration and ideas.
Beautiful.
Thank you, universe.
We're listening, universe.
I think next week.
Locavore. What is a locavore or a I saw it pronounced local vor and seasonal eating.
Yes, because we're coming up on Imbolc.
In bulk. Mm-hmm. The beginning of the growing season. Well, depending on where you are in the world, whether you actually put seeds in dirt during that time frame or if you're still in the planting phase. It depends on where you are in the world. But we are still in the depths of winter and we're almost out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Imbolc inspired this, since it's like Christina said, the beginning stage of the growing season. We were like, let's talk about food. So
Yes.
we will be back next week to talk about those themes: local eating, seasonal eating.
My themes went on a tangent of a cottage industry of Nicole and I had this conversation. Gosh, it's when we were in California, and it seems like that was so long ago, but not that long ago, when we were talking about craft. And it was like, what is your craft? And we were taking that as like, what is it that you do? But then as we were talking about an alternate way of living more independently of this commercialized world, then that craft became, what do you make to be shared, bartered, or offered as our contribution to the world? Do you remember that? I think we were driving when we had that conversation, and I kind of started to go down that road. I was like, I'm planning like this, not to live off the grid, but how can we find each other who have things that we can barter with to share the things that we need with each other, that what we can
Yeah.
create instead of buying.
It's this theme of reducing our dependence on these massive supply chains, like we talked about before.
And also the concept of not necessarily minimalism, which is still a great thing to do, to get down to. Do you remember a couple of years ago that book came out, 100 Things or something like that, where somebody got down to just 100 things in their lives? It was when
Um,
that Marie Kondo thing was happening. Everybody started cleaning out their closets, but not in that way, which is still a huge benefit. But what do you actually need? What is at the base of your diet? What is at the base of your work clothes? What is at the base of your needs? And I don't know if American culture spends enough time actually thinking about that. And generally, the only time you really think about that is when you travel, right?
yeah.
When you pack a bag and then you're moving through an airport, hotel, car trips, road trips. What are you eating? And how are you? And if you're not traveling due to whatever circumstances are happening in your life, how are you able to reflect on what do you actually need? Because we don't need everything we have.
Yeah.
Right? So that was my 2 tangents for next week, which I'm sure we will discuss again. More on that.
Thank you for listening today, and we will be back next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Radical. The Radical is written and produced by Nicole and Christina.
Listener questions can be emailed to us at theradicalpodnc@gmail.com.
Our Instagram is The Radical Pod.
Music by Van Horton. His Instagram is Van Horton Music.